but they don't try enough because the whole police is just not properly organized. So we need a modern police force to bring kidnapping down. We have 175 policemen today to 100,000 Nigerians. That's very low. The United Nations requirement is 300 policemen to 100,000 citizens. Some will argue 400 policemen to 100,000 citizens. And in Nigeria, where we have such a huge security issue, both internally, at our borders, and with terrorism, there is no more important investment than investing in the security of our lives and our property with a police force that can check kidnapping like any modern police force anywhere in the world.
Thank you very much for that intervention. Now, I mentioned the youth losing the way. Candidates, please turn your attention to the screens once again on each side of me here. This question is from a law student in Kano. Roll the tape.
Of the unemployed and starving. Now my question is, what is your plan to operationalize the youth labour policy in order to increase the number of young people that are engaged in the labour world?
Very important but simple question. We've got a population of 200 million people and growing, and Nigeria has an alarming rate of unemployed youths that will become a security threat to Nigeria. As they say, devil finds work or idle hands to do. Highlight some of the things that could help someone like that who says, what can you do in the education field to avoid people falling into all this? I'll go to the candidate from ACPN for this first.
It's a very important problem to tackle, and that there's a sense of urgency about it. The latest NBS report on youth unemployment shows that some 29.7% young people are unemployed. Some 25.7% of them are underemployed. So you're talking of 55% of the youthful segment of our society being in a state of lack of opportunity. And it's always about employability and employment opportunity. Employability speaks to the lack of skills that are relevant to the economy. And that requires innovating in education. A key thing that we have as our agenda is get a skill. It targets young people and works with the private sector to be the owners of programs that develop skills in the different sectors that are viable in the economy. It also focuses on, the second focus is of course the curriculum, even in the tertiary and secondary institutions, to make them dynamic and targeted toward employability. We also focus on teacher quality issues. If teachers do not have the skills to train the right kind of people, they would train people that the employment market would reject. On employment opportunities, we must grow the economy beyond 1.8%. It requires massive deregulation and opening up of sectors that are currently closed to the private sector. It also requires a focus on small businesses because in other societies, they make up as much as 75% of the job opportunities. The way out for our youth is jobs, jobs, and more jobs.
Jobs, jobs, and more jobs, says the candidate from the ACPN. Candidate for the ANN, that law student in Kano there was specifically talking about policies for labour as well. What policies would you put in, labour policies, that would improve a lot for youths in the future when it comes to employment?
Thank you, Mark, and thank you everyone that's listening. First thing I'd like to say is that today our current educational system is preparing our youth for certification, not for occupation. Which means that most of the skills and mindset, the value system that is required to succeed in the marketplace and in the professional world are not even being taught in school. So I'll give you a very practical example. Today, if you want to get a job in a bank, even after passing the aptitude test, the banks are going to ensure that you go through about 10 weeks of training just to get you ready to be integrated into the banking system within their organization. The question is, why would you have to take a graduate of banking and finance who has spent 4 years in school and retrain that person for 10 weeks just to be able to make that person ready? Because throughout their 4 years in school, they were being prepared for a certificate, not for a job in a bank. What we want to do, and we will do and deliver, is to make sure that we get the users of what I call the private sector and the market, will get them involved in curriculum development. So that it is the banks that will determine what it is that you learn in school, so that by the time you're done in school, you are ready and fit for employment. This is the first and most important thing that we have to do to get that integration going. The second most important thing is we have to give the right values. And today, leadership, the values of excellence, work ethics are not being taught in school. And yet, people are hired for their technical competencies and fired for their behavioral deficiencies. And so they need to be prepared in terms of values. So we will integrate values deeply into the curriculum of our economy, of our schools, and that is how we're going to make sure that the students are ready for the labor market.
Thank you very much. Now, we're going to talk about education in the next section, so I'm going to hold off on asking you to react to that video, candidate for the YPP, and actually go to a specific challenge we have, which I mentioned in my intro, and that is when you lay your hand on the Bible, if you lay your hand on the Bible or the Quran, and you're swearing to uphold the indivisibility and territorial integrity of our nation, it's a number one priority for you if you do become the president. Now, considering the agitation in the East, where you're from, with a breakaway republic of Biafra, this has got everyone's head scratching. What would you do to deal with that situation? For example, would you call for a referendum?
The first thing that the YPP presidency will do is to make every Nigerian feel a Nigerian. The reason you have agitations and marginalizations is because some people in this country do not feel that they belong, and they have good reason to feel that they don't belong. Let's not pretend about it.